Hi, guys. So, I wanted to share with you that I'm starting a new series called the Painterly Portrait Series. And what I want to do is break each individual video into individual components. So, painterly skin, painterly hair, painterly backgrounds. I want to do it individually because whenever I put up an entire lesson, if it's, let's say, 30 minutes, I usually get a watch time of about 5 to 6 minutes. So it's not really worth it to put all that work into one video if the majority of you are only watching 5 or 6 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to break each component down into 5 or 6 minutes so that at the end of the series, you will have watched the entire process and it won't get cut off. Now, my most popular ever video with the most views that I've ever done was back in 2023, and it was how to do an easy painterly portrait. Again, that one was 30 minutes and average view time of about 5 or 6 minutes. So in this series, I want to break it down step by step, and maybe that'll make it easier for all of you. Now, in 2023, I was still generating, making, and using AI images for backgrounds. Needless to say, I don't do that anymore. I have found in my teaching journey that it's more important, more than ever actually, for us all to learn how to do things with our own hands. Humans doing human stuff. There's so much AI crap out there now. And even if I look on my feed on Instagram, all I see are AI images. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'll always rant about it. It's like you look at these AI generated accounts and they've got, 2,500 comments and 40,000 likes. And, I'm barely hitting 100 at this point. And that's not going to deter me. I'm still going to teach humans how to do human stuff with their own hands and their own talent. I think more than ever now, it's more important that we do things with our own skill set and not with the use of a machine. And I know that there's a lot of photographers and artists out there that call digital renders with AI art. But in my perspective, the only good that they're useful for is number one, ideas, and number two is references so that you can learn how to digitally paint yourself in Photoshop. So, this series, I hope, will help a lot of you that are really interested in painterly portraits. Now, you can be a photographer that likes to have painterly portraits for your studio work, for your portrait business. There's also a lot of followers on here now that are digital artists and have never really known how to incorporate a photograph into painting. Now, this isn't going to be a painting series, that will be next. This is going to be strictly based on painterly portraits. So we will be using photographs for this. But I hope that you take the time and watch each individual video that comes out so that you can learn them in little bite-sized pieces. And at the end of the series, you'll know and feel much more confident on how to put it all together yourself. Now, please like, subscribe so that you will get a notification when a new video is released. I will be putting up one a week until the end of September when I go back to Italy for 3 months. And once I get back to Italy, I am going to tour around and show you what it's like to live in a small village in the mountains of Italy. So this first video is going to just be a walkthrough of a dramatic before and after, okay? I want to always start with really basic photos. I know that a lot of you, me especially, I know how to light now so that my image actually looks painterly straight out of the camera. But there are a lot of you out there that are beginners or intermediate that maybe your lighting and your light work isn't maybe as perfect straight out of the camera as it will be eventually. So we'll start with basic photos. And by the end of this, you should be able to take a basic photo and make it look absolutely painterly. Okay? So let's get started with the first one. All right, so here we are in the magical world of Photoshop, and this is our basic image. This is straight out of the camera. This was shot using window light only. It is not sharp because back in the day, I think I shot this with my 85 1.2. And if you use an 85 1.2 back in the day, look at that, not sharp. Nothing like Sony is now. Okay, so this is straight out of the camera. This is the raw image. The next thing I did was I brought it into Adobe Camera Raw and I used selective masking on my subject and I increased the brightness of her hair. Then the next thing I did, I'll open this group. So, ooh, that's a lot, isn't it? Okay, I'll walk you through it. Okay, so the first thing that I did is I just adjusted the size of the image because I wanted her to fill the canvas. So that's all I did. But then I knew that I needed to fill these spots and I didn't want to use AI Gen Fill, anything like that, because I don't even use that anymore. So what I did up here was I just copied this piece from there. I just used my elliptical tool, copied it, and used my skew, and I kind of fit it there. The next thing is I just used a basic black overpainting brush and I painted these little pieces in. I even painted right in here in her knee. So you can see that that is just adding those tonal values so that it looks like it's part of the knee. And then of course I painted in this portion here. Actually what I did here was I just did an elliptical selection again and moved it over and skewed it. Okay, and that's our background. The next thing I did is I used a mixer brush to gently go over top of this curtain just to have it look more painterly and not like all those little blobs that we did filling in the background. This is overpainting using my charcoal brush. And if you remember, if you watched my last painterly portrait in 2023, I did that using 3 screen blur, Gaussian blur layers. We will do that again, but this is not the layer. This is just using a basic charcoal brush of mine and using a very low flow, and I just sampled the color and I gently painted over top of this area. Now, if you look down here in this area, you're going to see that I also used that same brush, and sampling the different tones and colors, I kind of painted in little bits and bobs that resembled the other side of the dress so that it wasn't like that. Okay. And again, these are all completely optional. The next thing I did is I did my blend if for the highlights. So you see the difference the blend if makes? And then I added in some complementary colors in here with the mixer brush, and I sampled the color of her hair just to add it in those complementary tones. And then I darkened that side. That helps her pop out a little bit more. So this one is this one and this one, as you can see, are the same kind of layer Gaussian blur adjustment layers that I did. If I click on this, you can see that's a color dodge blend mode. Both of them are, and I duplicated it because I wanted it really to pop. Next one is a color and vibrance. And this one, I just did a little bit of color and vibrance to the hair area. This is my mixer brush layer. So in this series, you're going to learn how to use the mixer brush on skin as well as hair. So if we zoom in, you can see the drastic difference of this part of the hair. Meanwhile, I kept the edges photographic so that it looked a little bit more natural. Then I added some contrast to the hair because if you look at it before, it's a little flat. And then I did some highlights using Blend If on the face and the chest. And these are little tweaks that you want to learn how to recognize what it is that you need to do as you're progressing through your edit. Now, this next group here is just a dodge and burn. So this dodge and burn was strictly on her face, her leg, and her chest area, okay? Now, the next thing that I did was more of that glow. So here's our glow layer. And if you aren't familiar with this, you will learn that in the upcoming videos. I added some makeup. Okay, so makeup, and it's within the makeup layers. In this makeup layer, it really starts to shape her face, bring out the lips, the eyes, so you can really see the shape change, because when you do use your mixer brush, it will flatten your image. It will take away a lot of the highlights and the shadows. This one, I just did some optional glow. So this is an optional step if you want to learn how to do that, or if you're not interested, you can skip it, but this will be another video as well. And finally, I just used exposure and color toning. And those are all the steps with this particular image. So that's how you can take a basic photograph and really transform it into something with a lot of wow factor. Okay, so the first video that we're going to do is going to be on the environment. Okay, how to prepare your environment for a painterly portrait. And in these, we're not going to alter the background too much. Like, we're not going to paint a background. We're not going to digitally paint a background like some of my previous videos, because we already have videos up for that. This is just going to take your existing photograph and do a bunch of really cool stuff to it so that it suits all the changes that you're going to create with your subject. Okay, see you in the next video.